Hey guys, it's Daniel here with a new video for my Star Wars review saga, where I'll be reviewing all of the Skywalker Star Wars films leading up to Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. And I have to say, this is the one video for the Star Wars reviews I have been looking forward to, because today I'm going to be reviewing the Star Wars sequel trilogy, starting with possibly my favourite Star Wars film of all time, Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. So yeah, like I said, this was the one video I've been looking forward to, because when I first saw the Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, it was my favourite Star Wars film. I loved seeing it. It had great characters, Kylo Ren being one of my favourite Star Wars villains. I was just so in love with The Force Awakens, and that's what made me got into Star Wars even more. I mean, yeah, Episode 1 helped me get into it, but Episode 7 was the one that helped me get into it the most, because I love that film. So, after seeing the film again, after about maybe a year after seeing it, what do I think about it now? It is definitely still as amazing, because this is my favourite Star Wars film. And I know that's going to anger some people, because a lot of people saying that the best Star Wars film is Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. And yes, I do think it is a beautiful and great film, but I felt like it's a bit overrated. And I think it might be a second favourite of mine, but of sorts, I don't know whether I like that more or Return of the Jedi, but it's just my opinion. I'm trying to give myself an own opinion on a lot of films without having to rely too much on other people's opinions. And yes, this statement is a statement that many people have praised, but it's still a solid opinion that I'm going to stay by, because I love this film a lot and I cannot wait to talk about it in this video. The first big pro and example of why this film is the best one has to be the visual effects. This has to be the most well-made CGI Star Wars films I have seen in a long time. The visuals in this film look as good as a diamond, because they are so expressive and they are so fluid and awesomely animated. It must have taken the visual animators for this film such a long time to make these visuals work, because they had to use toy lightsabers to fight off each other, but the makers of the film had to think really hard of how to animate the lightsabers to make them look realistic. And to be honest, the lightsabers and the visual effects actually did kind of look believable with the guns and all that. And going hand in hand with the visuals has to be the puppetry and the cinematography in the film. Oh my god, the cinematography is the one that I love the most. Particularly in the beginning of the film with Rey and where she lives. That little view of that giant place where she gets some stuff to sell, that looked cool. And when she's riding her little sled down a hill, that scene looked really cool. It looked like that hill was really high, and there are some awesome camera shots in the film that dealt with that, and that's one of the examples of why the visual effects are awesomely spectacular to watch. And kind of having a date with the visuals has to be action scenes. They were great to watch as well. I mean, there are so many scenes in the film where I was just rooting, I was just in my seat saying, yes, come on heroes, you can do it, defeat the First Order, you can defeat them. I was really hoping for our heroes to win the day. Because the visuals and the action scenes are fantastic, it does make this film look like a very grand and big movie. So they had to, make the action scenes look as best as they could. And there are some scenes that dealt with peril and all that I'm saying, oh my god, this is so much fun to watch. Particularly the final fight with Rey and Finn going up against Kylo Ren with their lightsabers. Not only were the visuals done well, but the resolution that they gave Rey in this scene is so cool to watch. And they are trying to defeat this guy, and I just love the visuals. I can't deny how great the visual effects are in this film, and the action scenes are intense to watch. They might be the most intense action scenes. It might be one of the maybe 4 best action scenes in the entire film. The other 3 being the Darth Maul fight in episode 1, the Anakin and Obi-Wan fight in episode 3, and the fight between Luke, Darth Vader, and Emperor Palpatine in episode 6. But basically, going back to that, I love the visual effects in the film, and it honestly gave a lot of people passion as to wanting to see this in 3D, which I wish I could have done that. And there are so many shots in the film that if I saw that on a big screen in an IMAX, they would have looked amazing even more. And then we have the story in the film. Sure, the story might not be, like, that original, and it does follow some templates as Episode 4's story, A New Hope. I mean, a character put a special information to stop the Sith Lords in a droid. They take it to the main hero, and the hero has to learn the ways of becoming a Jedi, and they have to go up against the Sith Lords. Yes, that does happen in the film, and it's the same story in Episode 4. But, it's all about execution, because I had a very fun time with this movie. You can still take some, it's like, if you took, something from another film, and placed it in your own film, and tried to make things better, then that's what makes your story so successful. I don't mind if some people took some stuff from other films and put them in his films, just as long if it's about execution. And the execution with the story in this film is well done. The writing in this film, there are so many lines in this film that I honestly adored. One of the bests is like when Rey, Finn, and BB-8 are trying to run away from the First Order, and they try to run to a ship to get off the planet Jakku. The exchanges and the comedic banter between Rey and Finn in the scene is pretty hilarious. And there are some comedic scenes in the film that I really laughed at. But in my opinion, the best thing about this film is the actors and the characters that they portray, both old and new. They are incredibly fleshed out, and they are so engaging. I would possibly have a beer with them. Like, the new characters that they added are such new additions to the franchise. But before I talk about them, let's talk about some of the old characters real quick. They are still fantastic, and they fit back into the entire Star Wars franchise. Han Solo does get more development and has a more purpose in the story. And he and Leia had the best story arc in the entire film, because there's this whole thing where Han is diffusive about Kylo Ren. I'm not going to say why, but he feels like insecure about it, and fears that Leia sees something in Kylo Ren that he feels like that Han Solo has been like him. Leia does see some good in Kylo Ren. Again, no spoilers, but she's kind of like Luke Skywalker in a way, because she sees some good in some Sith Lords, just like her brother. And yeah, they did an execution with this story. And like I said, Han Solo is still a fantastic addition to the Star Wars franchise. And, oh my god, the closure that they gave his character in this movie, I didn't really cry at the scene because I knew it was coming, but I still felt pretty sad by it. I mean, you just see him look into Kylo Ren's eyes like... Again, no spoilers. I do love Han Solo, and he's still fantastic when he's pointing his gun. Harrison Ford can finish Han Solo at good times, because this is the final performance from Harrison Ford as Han Solo, so he has to give all his best. And in my opinion, this has to be the best acting from Harrison Ford as Han Solo. And this movie is also the best performance from Carrie Fisher, because like I said, I do love how she sees something in Kylo Ren, and that she's kind of like her brother. Now let's talk about the new characters in the film. Some of them are possibly the best characters in the entire Star Wars franchise. I mean, I don't know whether I like them or some of the old characters, but they are fitting additions to the franchise, and I want to see how they're going to take their characters in the next films, particularly with Rey, Finn, and Kylo Ren. These three characters have to be some of, if not the best characters in the entire Skywalker saga. It's a race between them and the old characters, but they are still some of the best. And they are definitely the best characters in this film. Let's start off with Rey. Oh my god. I love this character. This character is kind of like the Black Widow of this movie, and the reason why is that she is strong and she wants to handle herself in a fight, and she does have a pretty cool backstory. We don't know that much about her, but we learn a little bit. It was pretty tragic, and I want to see how her backstory is going to conclude later in the films. But at the same time, she does have ways of trying to defeat the First Order and how to get away with anything that she needs to do. I mean, there's this one scene of the movie where Kylo Ren is trying to, like, force her to reveal where the map of Luke Skywalker is. She is kind of manipulated by it, but at the same time, she's so strong and she's like, "You're afraid. You're afraid you'll never be as strong as Darth Vader." And then Kylo Ren just gives up. Oh my god, this character might be more than what Kylo Ren expected. And my god, does she look good. And what I love is that she's the character that wants to get me interested to see more films starring the actress who portrays her. Because Daisy Ridley has to be one of the best British actors I've ever seen. And I want to see more dealing with this actress. I love her and I want to see her get more roles, and I cannot wait to see how this character is going to grow throughout the rest of the trilogy. I love this character, and she might and she is honestly one of the best characters I've ever seen in a Star Wars film. Then we have Finn. Just like Rey, he's also a strong character, but the thing is, you see, he was a stormtrooper, but he betrayed the First Order because he does have a soft spot for some other characters, and he feels like he needs to help the Resistance take the First Order down. And so he goes off on an adventure with Rey and Han Solo, and he grows throughout the film, realizing that he can join the Resistance and that he wants to be good at everything. And the reason as to why he wants to go off the First Order, mainly because we learn a little bit about his backstory, is sorted as well. I don't know which character I like the most between Rey or Finn, because there are some standout moments with Rey, but at the same time there are some standout moments with Finn, and Rey is kind of cute, but his betrayal against the First Order made kind of Finn a bit cute. And there's some scenes where Rey is awesome and she kicks some butts, but Finn also kicks butt. Basically, I love both of these characters. They are the best lead characters in the entire film, and they have a really cool friendship. I mean, when they first meet, they are kind of defensive against each other at first, but about 2 minutes later, after their little coolness on the Millennium Falcon, they do end up becoming really good friends, and they're not really like love interests, but basically they're just really cool friends, and I cannot wait to see how they are going to like end their relationship in episode 9, and I just love these characters a lot. Then we have the new Empire. Well, not really called the Empire, we should call it the First Order. This entire Sith bad guy group is way more intimidating than they were in episode 4, 5, or 6, because they honestly waste everybody around the globe. One scene somewhere in the middle of the film where they just shoot out some planets that people are living on, and they just waste the entire planet, and they're just shooting other planets, and I was like, oh my god, I do not want to become these guys. I would not want to get in their way because I am scared of them. And the stormtroopers have also had an upgrade as well, because their helmets look way more awesome than they were in episode 4, 5, or 6. But honestly, I can't talk about the First Order or any of the characters without talking about the heart and soul of the First Order. And you all know who I'm going to be referring to. I'm of course talking about the main villain of the entire sequel trilogy, Kylo Ren. Darth Vader, if you didn't think there'd be someone as strong as you are going to be losing your money in a minute, because Kylo Ren has to be one of the strongest and most menacing Sith Lords in the entire Star Wars trilogy, and one of the best movie villains I've ever seen film in general, because I do not want to get in this way. I mean, the way that he walks in, he has a black cloak and a fantastic mask, because the mask is so engaging and almost makes me want to have that mask. And his lightsaber has to be the coolest lightsaber I've ever seen, because it's just a red lightsaber with 2 crosses, almost like it's a cross from Jesus? Jesus? But Kylo Ren is an adversary for Rey, Finn, and the gang, because I do not want to get in this way, and I love all the scenes that featured him. And Adam Driver does a fantastic job giving in this character a menacing personality and had a really cool voice. We don't get to learn a lot about him, but the parts that we learn about him so far is very engaging and developed for me to watch, because I want to see this character more in this film, because I do think that Kylo Ren is one of the best villains in the Star Wars franchise. I thought Adam Driver was a perfect choice for this character. And I know a lot of people have seen this film already. A lot of people already know who Kylo Ren really is, but I'm not going to say who he is in general. So, just in case if you haven't seen the entire Star Wars franchise, I'm not going to show Kylo Ren's real face in this video, or tell you guys his real name, or who he really is. But let's just say that it gives this character more emotion. I honestly cannot wait to see episode 8 and 9, so we can learn more about this character, what resolution they're going to give him, and more about his backstory as to why he joined the Sith Lords, and why he wants to join Supreme Leader Snoke. As for some supporting characters, they were also fun to watch, particularly with BB-8. Oh my god, for a character who is just a droid and doesn't have a face, I could understand how the character is feeling. Like, when he finds out that Finn was from the First Order, you can tell that he's like shocked. And the way that he uses his gadgets or tools to make the other characters understand, like when Finn is giving a thumbs up at him, BB-8 like uses a little torch that goes up like that and like that. That also means that it's a thumbs up. So I knew that was a thumbs up, and I can understand this character. And he's just so cute. He might be one of, if not the best droid I've ever seen in the Star Wars film. Yes, he's even better than R2-D2 and C-3PO. And C-3PO also returns in this film as well. All the other villains in the film are spectacular, and the actors who portray the other villains do give menacing speeches. Domhnall Gleeson is excellent in this movie. He's not really as good as Kylo Ren, but his character as the General is almost as menacing as Kylo Ren. I mean, there's this one scene in this movie where he's giving this really menacing speech to the First Order saying, "We will take him down! We will defeat the Resistance! We will do the rise of the First Order and bring an end to the galaxy!" Oh my god. I haven't seen Domhnall Gleeson in a lot of films. I thought he was great in Peter Rabbit, but this character is also really cool. He doesn't have a lot of things to do, but we can understand that he's also a very menacing villain, and I want to see more of Domhnall Gleeson. And of course, I can't talk about my feelings on the film without talking about the score by John Williams. The reason I'm like that is because I don't need to explain that much about why I love the score, because it's always fantastic, and John Williams always delivers when it comes to his music. I think the best piece of music in this film by John Williams has to be Rey's theme, where it's like dun 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 dun. that was really peaceful. I mean, Ray seems like a pretty calm person, so that theme also fits. But it's just really catchy and very relaxing. So, well done, John Williams, once again. I can't necessarily find a problem with the film. Yes, there are some little nitpicks, like some characters wish they had more to do, and the pacing was a bit slow. But overall, I had a blast watching this movie, and I love it a lot, and I really want to see it again. It had great writing, great characters, with some awesome new additions to the franchise, cool visuals, awesome action scenes, and a cliffhanger ending that is so relevant that almost makes me excited for the next film. And I do think it is a fitting addition to the Star Wars franchise. And that's why I'm going to give this film a 5 out of 5. I think it's an awesome film. Go see it right now because it is my favourite Star Wars film. Anyway, Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. What do you think about it? Let me know in the comment section below. Do you love it as much as I did? And why? Have you not seen Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens? Do you want to? Do you not want to? And why? And what is your favourite Star Wars film? Let me know in the comment section below. And stay tuned because I'm really on a tight schedule. I'm almost done with my Star Wars reviews. I just have one more film to review, The Last Jedi, and then I can finally get to my review, and then I can finally get to watch Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Oh my god, it is almost here. I am super excited. I really hope it's as good as I think it is. So, are you guys excited? Because I sure am. Anyway, I'm Daniel reviewing movies, TV shows, doing videos, and I'm a huge fan of this new addition to the Star Wars franchise, even though it already came out already, but I'm a big fan of this film. Till then, peace out, man. And if you want to see more, click the subscribe button to see more. Jeremy Johns, can you stop getting in my head, please?